אשא עיניי אל ההרים, מאין יבוא עזרי. אשא עיניי אל ההרים, מאין יבוא עזרי. אשא עיניי אל ההרים, מאין יבוא עזרי. אשא עיניי אל ההרים, מאין Yavo Ezri, Ezri, Me'im Adonai, Oseh, Shamayim Va'aretz, Esa Einai, El Heharim, Me'ayin, Yavo Ezri. I lift up my eyes to the mountain. Where does my help come from? I lift up my eyes to the mountain. Where does my help come from? You know my help, it comes from God who made heaven and earth. Esa Einai, El Heharim, Me'ayin, Yavo
Asher Malach B'terem Yitzir Nivra Le'ed Nasa V'chefzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra
ועת צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוסרי, מנת כוזי ביום אקרא. Yavo Ezri Esa Enai El Heharim Me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Esa Enai El Heharim Me'ayin Yavo Ezri Esa Enai El Heharim Me'ayin Yavo Ezri.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, CBHT, from David Leader.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Kim and I welcome you tonight to what we hope is our last Shabbat in a nearly empty room. And while we have all had access to one another via Facebook and YouTube, and really held on to the sensation of community in an impressive manner, it will be a great relief and a feeling of redemption to be with one another again starting next week. Please be sure to read your emails from Buffy to register for upcoming services, as admission will be limited for the time being. You'll notice this evening that Rabbi is not physically with us, as she is in the midst of great simcha in her household. In addition to Gabe's graduation, Rabbi is celebrating the following milestones. It is Noah's 8th anniversary since her bat mitzvah. It is Gabe's 5th anniversary from his bar mitzvah. It is Rabbi's 40th anniversary from her bat mitzvah, and it is Rabbi and Mark's 26th wedding anniversary. Additionally, it's the 25th anniversary of Rabbi's ordination, for which she has received a well-deserved honorary Doctor of Divinity. I think we can all agree that we are very fortunate to have such an incredible leader with vast knowledge and experience and lots more to share. With that, we welcome you into Shabbat as we continue to reflect and celebrate the unity we have maintained during these wildly peculiar times.
Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
How good it is,
How good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. How good it is,
how good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matov
Almanayim, Shevet Achim, Gam Yachad. How good it is, how good it is,
How good it is.
how sweet it is,
How sweet it is
to be together on this day. How good it is,
How good it is.
how sweet it is,
How sweet it is
to be together on this day. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum.
Please gather your candles and prepare to light them with me. God, help us now to make this new Shabbat. After noise, we seek quiet. After crowds of indifferent strangers, we seek to touch those we love. After concentration on work and responsibility, we seek freedom to meditate, to listen to our inward selves. We open our eyes to the hidden beauties and the infinite possibilities in the world you are creating. We break open the gates of the reservoirs of goodness and kindness in ourselves and in others. We reach toward one holy, perfect moment of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, lehadlik ner. Shabbat.
And now, by opening the metaphoric doors of our hearts, or whatever the minhag hakom of your place is, we welcome in the Sabbath bride.
Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem multiferet v'litila lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat Kabbalat likrat Shabbat סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובסגולה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי כלה, בואי כלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת, קבלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת, קבלה. שלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, מלאכי השלום.
Please rise for Chatzi Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
ויעלמא דברך ירתי וימליך
מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב
ומרו
אמן.
יהי שמי רבה מבורך
לעולם ולעלמיה יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירם בעלמה וימרו Amen. Please stay standing for Baruch. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch hu et Adonai ha-mevorach. Baruch Adonai ha-mevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam
tonight. Boream balayla, golel or mipnei choshech, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
Avat olam Beit Yisrael Amachavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al kin Adonai Eloheinu v'shachbeinu v'kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha v'nizmach b'divrei Toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem negeh yomam v'layla ve'avatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Please join with us as we enjoy our gift from Billy Jonas, this beautiful Shema. This is the prayer of our fathers and mothers.
This is the prayer of our fathers and mothers. This is the prayer of our sisters and brothers. This is the prayer supporting all others we say. This is the prayer of our fathers and mothers. This is the prayer of our sisters and brothers. This is the prayer supporting all others we say. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Everything is God, everything is one. Baruch Shem Kevod, Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai. Yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai. Yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai. This is the prayer of our fathers and mothers. This is the prayer of our sisters and brothers. This is the prayer supporting all others we say.
And we move now to a prayer of love. It has become our tradition, our custom here at Congregation Beth HaTefillah, to occasionally insert, instead of V'ahavta, our prayer of love and obedience to God with Yedid Nefesh, a beautiful piyut.
ידיד נפש, אב רחמן, אב רחמן. משוך עבדך אל רצונך, אל רצונך. ידיד נפש, אב רחמן, אב רחמן. משוך עבדך אל רצונך, אל רצונך. ירוץ עבדך כמו היה ישתחווה אל מול הדרך. ידיד נפש, אב רחמן, אב רחמן. משוך עבדך אל רצונך, אל רצונך.
The Israelites walked into the Reed Sea 1 foot at a time. What were they thinking as the water rose up their legs, chilling their hearts, advancing toward their open mouths? We continue to walk here, now, 1 foot at a time, on our better days forward. Alone I cannot reach the far shore without drowning. Somehow I do not go under. The person to my right holds me up. Something I cannot see holds him up. Blessed is the source of help, so often unexpected. I step forward. The sea is vast. Baruch atah Adonai, al nisecha shebechol yom imanu. Blessed are you, gracious one, for your miracles that greet us every day.
Understanding among us, let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Leshalom. V'ha'amidenu, shomreinu l'chaim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu, hashkiveinu l'shalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Those who keep Shabbat by calling it a delight will rejoice in your realm. The people that hallow Shabbat will delight in your goodness. For being pleased with the seventh day, you hallowed it as the most precious of days, drawing our attention to the work of creation.
Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei onei Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei onei Shabbat. Mekadeshei Mekadeshei Shevi Shabbat, Ulam Yisbe'u V'yitandu Metuvet HaShabbat, Yismehu B'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat V'korei onei Shabbat, Yismehu B'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei onei Shabbat. V'hashvi'i ratzita bo v'kidashu Shabbat. Chemdan yamim oto karata Shabbat. Yismehu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei onei Shabbat. Yismehu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei onei Shabbat. Zecher למעשה בראשית שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו למלאכתך שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו למלאכתך שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת.
Please rise for tefillah. Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Yalalai, lai, lai, 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 yalalai, lai, lai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevii Gula livnei b'neihem, Leman Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei metim atah Rab lehoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel chaim bechesed, Mechayei metim berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Micha mocha Baal gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lahachayot metim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hametim. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. My God, open my eyes and my heart, that I might always merit to see the good in the world and the good that you have bestowed upon me, even as I experience difficulties and am troubled. May no physical ailment or spiritual despair cause me to forget the blessings you have granted me in life. May your love and your compassion ever be before me. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu, ve'amcha Yisrael, amcha Yisrael, u'tefilata, ve'ahava tekabel. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu,
Shemo.
המחזיר שכינתו לציון.
Amen.
Giver of peace, teach us to see ourselves in the face of others, that we may learn to be patient with fault, generous with love, sparing with anger. Help us to understand that our little lives are potent with great good, that we are healers in your image, that reaching out in need of you to others more in need, we find you near. Give us the grace simply to be kind. Then peace must surely come to dwell among us.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. Ki ata V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. At this time, we think of all those who are in need of God's healing presence. From our congregational family, Chris Argall, Nancy Ash, Mindy Beller, Leah Bray, Chana Leah Bat Devorah, Betty Cohen, Amy Cooper, Harvey Filer, Andrew Fisher, Dean Gavney, Jacob Gluckman, Roger Gluckman, Gabby Goldberg, Stuart Goodman, Alicia Good, Ramesh Gupta, Bert Horwitz, Laurel Jonas, Wally Jonas, Jean Nofel, Chris Kuntz, Michael Litkin, Bill Rockamora, Bert Rothman, Jim Rudisil, Deborah Sanders, Julie Sherman, Deborah Silverstein, Shoshana Slatke, Matthew Trehub, Bob Ward, Marlene Wexelblatt, Carol Wenham. We add to their names all of those caring for them and those suffering in every corner of our world. If there are others on your mind and in your heart, please feel free to add them to the chat, as Kevin is unable to read names aloud this evening. And now please join Kol Simcha as they sing Heal Us Now.
May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. Yehiyu v'ratzon im refi ve'yo levi lefanecha Adonai Tzuri ve'goali Tzuri ve'goali.
Good Shabbos. My name is Sam Kaplan Gershon. It's an honor to be asked to share a Devar Torah for this week's reading. The Parsha is Beha Alotcha, which is Numbers chapters 8 to 12. The events in this reading take place after Exodus. The Israelites have left Egypt and have received the law and built the tabernacle. God is guiding them through Sinai. In this week's reading, even after all that the Israelites have already witnessed with 10 plagues, crossing the Sea of Reeds, experiencing the presence of God, eating manna, some Israelites are complaining. In addition to complaints, we have the creation of the Levites from the firstborn males who were passed over during the final plague in Egypt. The Levites will assist Aaron and his descendants with the duties of priests in the tabernacle and later in the temple. There's also a story of quail and a plague. There's 72 elders who begin to prophesy after being touched by God's Spirit. And the reading ends with a family quarrel between Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. All of these are juicy events, and I recommend that you go back and read through the whole thing. But tonight we're going to focus on the last event, the quarrel. So I'll be quoting from the Jewish Publication Society translation from Hebrew to English and adapting it a little bit from time to time. This last portion reads, quote, Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of the Cushite woman he had married. He married a Cushite woman. They said, has God spoken only through Moses? Has God not spoken through us as well? Unquote. Then God calls Moses, Aaron, and Miriam to the tent of meeting. And God calls Aaron and Miriam forward and gives them what for? God says there are prophets, and then there's Moses. Only with Moses does God speak without using riddles and speak face to face. And a pillar of cloud is lifted. And when it does, we see that Miriam has the plague, literally white scales. Sometimes this is interpreted as leprosy. Aaron, horrified, immediately asks for Moses to intercede on Miriam's behalf. And Moses gives what is likely to be the shortest prayer in all of Torah. 5 words, 11 letters. El na refa na la. O God, pray, heal her. This blessing is so direct and powerful that it was added to the liturgy when we ask for healing. You might even recognize the melody. El na refana la lanu. The refana lanu means heal us, whereas refana la means heal her, Miriam. Miriam then stayed away from the camp for 7 days. She healed and then returned. The people waited for her. And when she returned, they departed together and encamped in the wilderness of Paran. This terse story raises many questions. Why are Miriam and Aaron speaking out against Moses at all? Who's the Cushite wife, and what does this have to do with the complaint? And why is only Miriam punished? We'll address these questions using a close reading of the text, other passages from Torah, as well as some quotes from Talmud and some commentary. We'll start with Miriam and what we know about her character. We know that she's a prophet. Early in Exodus, we see that. And there's a story in the Talmud, Tractate Sotah, page 12a, that her father Amram was the greatest man of his generation. And when he heard Pharaoh's decree that every son born to the Hebrews be thrown into the Nile, Amram said, "We're having children for nothing except to be killed immediately." So he divorced his wife. And because he was righteous, all of the men divorced their wives. Then Miriam, his young daughter, came to him and rebuked him, saying that his decree is worse than the decree of Pharaoh. The Pharaoh's decree affected only male babies, while he condemned male and female babies. In addition, Pharaoh's decree was wicked, so there's doubt if it would be carried out. But Amram is righteous, so anything he says would be carried out. Amram saw the wisdom of Miriam's words and remarried his wife. Soon after, Moses was born. So Miriam is unafraid to stand for justice. She sees possibility even in the midst of calamity. And because of her, Moses and a whole generation of Israelites were born. Through Moses, God births a people. The Israelites who had escaped from slavery to freedom going through the Sea of Reeds emerged like a newborn from a birth canal. Miriam was like the midwife, and she leads the celebration once they're free. Miriam is all about life and all about justice. So how in this week's reading can she come across as petty? Let us look for an answer in the text just before. Moses collected 70 elders, and God's Spirit moved through them, and they began to prophesy. Then 2 other members of the Israelites also began to prophesy. A witness came to Moses to say that there were 2 unsanctioned prophets, and Moses said, "Oh, wouldn't it be great if all the Israelites were prophets?" So that part is in the Torah. In the Talmud, Rabbi Nathan suggests that Moses' wife Zipporah and Miriam were standing together when the news of the 2 extra prophets was brought to Moses. Rabbi Nathan imagines that Zipporah says, "Woe to the wives of those who have anything to do with prophecy, for their husbands will separate from them just as my husband has separated from me." I know that sounds like it came out of nowhere, but earlier, back in Exodus, around chapter 19, when the Israelites were going to receive the Torah, they were commanded to leave their tents and refrain from marital relations for 3 days. After they received the law, they were then told to return to the tents. Rabbi Nathan infers that couples resumed marital relations as well. Maybe not just at that moment, but let's agree that the injunction was lifted. At the same time that Moses tells the people to go back to their tents, God tells Moses, "You stay here." Rabbi Nathan speculates that Moses remained celibate from then on in order to be ready to prophesy for God at any moment. It is a lot of speculation, but the commentator Rashi builds on this to explain one of our questions. Rashi points out that the text says, Miriam and Aaron spoke, not Aaron and Miriam. So Miriam, he infers, started the conversation. And what does she say? Well, according to Rashi, she says to Aaron that she's just learned from Zipporah that Moses has been refraining from marital relations because he thinks it's part of the job of being a prophet. But Miriam and Aaron are also prophets, and they sleep with their spouses. So why should Zipporah have to suffer? They're going to confront Moses with this, and they say, quote, has God spoken only through Moses? Has God not spoken through us as well? Unquote. And therefore, says Rashi, they continue, Moses, you're causing your wife to suffer needlessly. Moreover, we can imagine Miriam's frustration. She's all about creating new life and possibility, birthing a people. She would want Moses and Zipporah to have more children. It must feel like an echo of her father's error. In this interpretation of what seems like a complaint, the line, quote, has God spoken only through Moses? Has God not spoken through us as well? Unquote, is really a plea to Moses to have more children and bring joy to Zipporah. Such an intention is consistent with what we already know about Miriam. So why is it then that Miriam is punished? And why is it her alone? Well, in the Hebrew text, it's actually clear that Miriam and Aaron shared their concern together because it's in the plural that they said it. So perhaps this is not why Miriam was punished. If instead, let us return to the first complaint. Quote, Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of the Cushite woman he had married. Quote, he married a Cushite woman, unquote. The Hebrew text says that, quote, he married a Cushite woman. Just that phrase is spoken by Miriam because it's in the feminine singular, whereas everything else is in the plural. Since only Miriam said this, while everything else she and Aaron said together, and only Miriam is punished, while both Miriam and Aaron are chastised, perhaps this phrase is connected to her punishment. The phrase, remember, he married a Cushite woman. That is to say, Moses married a Cushite woman. So who is this Cushite woman? Is it Moses' wife that we know about, Zipporah? We know she's a Midianite, so that might not make sense. Is this instead a second wife? And if so, it's the only mention of her in the text. The word Cushite in Hebrew is somewhat ambiguous. It can mean someone from a particular tribe in what is now Ethiopia, or it could mean anyone from a loose affiliation of peoples from Ethiopia across to India. It can also mean, more generally, anyone with dark skin. So how do we put these clues together? If the phrase, he married a Cushite woman, means Zipporah, then we can infer that Zipporah must have dark skin. But that seems particularly irrelevant for the issues at hand. If it's not Zipporah, if it's a second wife who is either specifically Ethiopian or has dark skin, then is the complaint about the skin? Well, not according to Rashi. In the same commentary on Numbers, he says, this tells us that all agreed to her beauty. Moreover, says Rashi, if you add the numerical value of the letters in the phrase, a woman of beautiful appearance, you get the number 736. And it's the same as the numerical value of the word Cushite. Rashi continues past this and mentions that a handsome young man is likewise called a Moor. So we have Moses married a woman of beautiful appearance, if we're interpreting it the same way as Rashi. That really hardly sounds like a complaint. Then the only thing left as a complaint by Miriam is simply that her brother got married again at all. If he's celibate with his first wife, Zipporah, which she would have just learned, and with whom he had already had 2 children, then apparently he has just married a woman with whom he does not even plan to consummate his marriage, let alone have more children with her. The situation, you can imagine, would have incensed Miriam for the sake of Zipporah and for the sake of the second wife and for the sake of all the children that Moses is not going to have. Well, this line of thought has narrowed down the cause of Miriam's punishment to this complaint made only by Miriam. It is clear her motivations were from a place of seeking justice, of compassion. Why then be punished for a comment based on good intention? Well, perhaps the question is simply too hard. Many parts of the story are opaque to me, even with all of this creativity from the rabbis and all of this commentary. I'm not satisfied with any one answer. However, I do think there is a lesson. The plague or skin disease is a clue. The Torah says, quote, "And as the cloud withdrew from the tent of meeting, there was Miriam, stricken with snow-white scales on her skin," unquote. There's only one other place this phrase, snow-white scales, is used in the Torah. It's in Exodus when God is first talking with Moses, trying to demonstrate divine power and to build trust. God says to Moses, "Put your hand in your shirt." And so he does. And when he takes out his hand, it was encrusted with snow-white scales, the exact same wording. And then God said, "Put your hand back." And he put his hand back. And when he took it out again, the skin condition had gone away. This makes me think that the episode has something to do with building trust and a demonstration of power. If we step back a little bit and shift our focus to the Israelites, what has this whole reading been about? It's been about Israelites continuing to complain and to demonstrate distrust of Moses, of their leadership, of God's guidance. But when Miriam is stricken, they could have said, "We told you so. These leaders are all corrupt. Look, that one even has the plague." But that's not what they said. Instead, they waited for her to return. They demonstrated faith that she would heal, trust in Moses' prayer, and appreciation for Miriam's leadership. I think, actually, that the Israelites finally passed a test as a whole group. The text does not say that some of them went on ahead. It says that all of them waited. And for once, they are united and whole. I began my study of this passage thinking it was something to do with leadership, standing up to authority and knowing when to refrain from speaking. But after investigating all of the passages and readings about this, I don't think that anymore. There are elements around leadership and lessons to learn, I would agree. The story of Miriam and Aaron's complaint, though, is really about how to demonstrate appreciation and compassion for leaders, the ones in your family and in your community, at temple, at work. I encourage all of us to notice those who take on extra responsibilities and guide a community. Let us be sure to demonstrate appreciation and compassion for these leaders. I'm not saying don't complain. Can hardly breathe as a Jew without complaining. But I do think this week's reading is suggesting don't only complain. Wishing all of you strength and more strength. Shabbat Shalom.
Please rise for Aleinu.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא Yehyeh Adonai Echad.
We think now of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing. We recall by name those taken in recent days and weeks. Tom Gosnell, cousin of Eric Neymark, was laid to rest this week. Robert Bernstein, father of Daphne Cohen, father-in-law to Peretz Cohen, and grandfather to Emma and Asher. And we remember those whose yahrzeits occurred this week. Alice Butchers, Rita Friedenberg, Ida Kahn, Ernest Lefkowitz, Bernard Proctor, Ed Chick Rosenberg, Bernard Sloan, Vivian Sloan. If there are additional names for those observing yahrzeits, please feel free to add them in the comments section as we stand together and say Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala ubizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'elam ulamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiram be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tebel, v'imru,
Amen.
amen.
I close my eyes only for a moment, and the moment's gone. All my dreams pass before my eyes, a curiosity, dust in the wind. All they are is dust in the wind. Same old song, just a drop of water in an endless sea. All we do crumbles to the ground, though we refuse to see. Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind.
Shabbat Shalom! I am David Seligman. I'm representing the Temple Board this evening. I would like to welcome everybody to what will hopefully be the last, stress hopefully, be the last Zoom announcements. I'd like to thank Seth and Sarah Kim and Sam Kaplan for his amazing devar. Now, I have some announcements that I'd like to make. Who else noticed the rabbi wasn't here? She's a pretty noticeable character when she is not. But tonight, she has all the mazel tovs coming to her because she is celebrating not only her son's graduation from high school this weekend, but she's also received her doctorate in divinity from Hebrew Union College because she has been serving as a rabbi for 25 years. 13 of those years right here, being the temple, of course, not here in my front yard. So all of the mazel tovs go to her. Everybody who wants to give her well wishes and mazel tov, congratulations, please send those along to her. Kavanah will be on June 3rd. Please join the rabbi for meditation and mindfulness at 7 p.m. Who is the point of contact for all of these great things? Buffy. Everybody should say it all at once. Buffy is, of course, the brains behind the operation. The Sisterhood Social Action Committee is doing a clothing collection on June 13th from 11 to 2 for the ABCCM Transformation Village. They're collecting gently used women's and children's spring and summer clothing. Please see your email for more information. Are you a fan of the Moth Radio Hour? Do you love connecting through stories? Are you looking for a way to get to know and support your fellow CBHT members? Then get ready for the CBHT Speakeasy Story Hour. Join us live on June the 7th at 6:30 on our live stream on YouTube and Facebook pages as our storytellers take the podium. You will not want to miss this. Now, if you saw the temple emails on Wednesday and earlier today, you know that we are in the process of reopening for Shabbat services starting next week. Of course, this will be in limited numbers for June, and we ask that all temple members be vaccinated and register prior to coming to services. Please see your emails for the details, or call who? Buffy! In our office if you have any questions. And on behalf of the board, we are so excited to welcome members back into our sanctuary. Shabbat Shalom and happy trails to Zoom announcements.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Borei
borei peri hagafen. L'chaim.
L'chaim. And now for this beautiful challah made by Amanda Diamond Ring. Yeah, I'm going to put that right there, okay? And I'm going to touch here and reach out to you guys, and we'll all sing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. B'tei avon. I know I'm going to have a bite in just a minute after we sing. Join us for our last song. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, David. Thank you to everybody who shared in this beautiful evening together. Who'd you say?
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Kevin, as always. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Seth.
Join us. Thank you, Kim.
You're welcome.
Join us in our last song. O Jevo Shalom, O Jevo Shalom Aleinu, O Jevo Shalom, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Shalom, Aleinu Be'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imeru, Amen.
Od Yavo Shalom, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Ve'imeru, amen.
Ose shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Yaseh shalom, shalalalom. Yaseh shalom, ve'imeru, amen. Yaseh shalom, shalalalom. Yaseh shalom, ve'imeru, amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.